Welcome to Clarke Farms. We're back with another episode of the Clarke Farms map by MRG Mapping, and we are in the final pass of soybeans here. And so we've got everything is just now coming to a close. Looks like this combine here is going to come back for the final pass here. Hopefully Courseplay can handle behaving itself for the last few minutes of this course. And we're just going to run this neighbor's gleaner here up into the yard and unload directly into the truck. And then we're going to leave this equipment up here in this grass area up near the road here so he can come and pick it up when he's ready to go. We definitely appreciate him helping us get through this bean harvest while we worked on our own combine behind the scenes. We have got the case switched over for corn harvest now, so we will be using that once again as we dive into our own corn harvest here. Hopefully looking to get that started at some point this episode. We've got one field left of harvest for this year. If we bring up the map here, you can see we've got field 1 has already been harvested and tilled. We've got field 2 that we're just here wrapping up. And then field 7 is our cornfield, not quite ready for harvest here. And then we've got a bunch of grass cut up in this pasture to the east of field 7 that we need to check on at some point here today as well. Hoping to be able to get some hay out of that field before the winter comes. It's been drying out for the bulk of the current day. So let's run back there and check on it real quick here while our harvesters are finishing up. As you can see, it's not quite dried out into hay yet. It's going to get to one stage lighter than this here shortly. Hopefully taking a look at the weather. We've still got several hours of drying conditions left, and in a worst case scenario, tomorrow has a good amount of drying conditions. And so we're really hoping to get out here and bale some hay before the end of the next day or so, and tomorrow hopefully we'll be able to get out here and start working on our corn. It looks like we've wrapped up the soybean harvest here, so we're going to just unload the combine here into this grain cart and take it back up to the yard as well, and then we'll get the rest of these beans unloaded into the bins and get a feel for how good of a harvest this was. So we've got the last of the beans going into the bins here right now. Hopefully this is all gonna fit. If we go ahead and check here, looks like we got plenty of space in this bin. I'm not sure this is sized realistically. These are some bins that I found and put onto this map. I probably should have stuck with the ones MRG had on here. We've got about a little over 5,300 bushels of soybeans in the bins now, which is awesome. Those are hopefully going to sell for a pretty penny here later next year, and we'll be able to pay off a lot of that debt that we've built up over the last several months here in game. So at this point, I think what we're going to need to do is get the bins set up for corn. We're going to be needing to put our corn through this corn dryer here at some point, so I'm looking forward to giving this a shot. I think this is going to run with a global company here on this map, so we'll need to figure out how to set things up and put some corn into this wet bin, and then also get an auger over here to unload the dryer and fill up one of these other bins with some corn. We'll probably put it in this one over here and go from there. So we need to likely pick up another auger, I think, here, because we're going to want to leave one set up to get our corn into the wet bin, and then we're going to need another one set up to put the dry corn into the bin itself, and I don't want to have to keep moving the auger all the time. So we're going to go shopping here and see what we can do to find another auger to add onto the farm here. So we've advanced to the next day here, and we just got done feeding our cows, and it looks like the hay, if you can see in the pasture way back in the distance there, is ready to windrow up here and make some bales. We're still in early autumn here, so our corn isn't quite dry yet, so we've still got one more day before we're going to be able to jump over into the cornfield. And so I thought we would get out here in the field, see if we can rake up some of this hay and, yeah, get going on baling some hay. I have not figured out yet where we're going to store this hay, so we still got to figure that out. But we need to put it somewhere so that we can have enough hay, and the silage bales that are wrapped here, we can start making TMR, which is going to be pretty exciting. Now, unfortunately, all these cows are just crowded in here. What is up with that? Apparently this thing kind of spins on its own sometimes. I guess the wind's just catching that mixing bar there. I don't know what's going on. So we're just going to skirt around all these cows again and get down here into the field. I'm curious if the worker's going to be able to handle windrowing this field. It'd be really awesome if I could get the worker started off on this and then go run the baler, because I know the worker's not going to run the baler very well. I know a lot of people suggested that I needed to go ahead and set up the course boundary on this field. I have not done that in so long. I probably should just do that right now. But if the worker's going to work here, I'm going to let the worker go. If the worker isn't going to work, maybe we'll try and sort that out here momentarily. So let's give this a shot. Let's see how it does. And then we will switch gears appropriately here. Just because if I could get Courseplay to run the baler as well, then we could immediately start picking things up with a loader, with a bale stack trailer here, and kind of make this job go a bit quicker. Oh yeah, here we go. We've got a worker going on this, so I think we're gonna live with the worker for now. Let him keep going, and we're gonna go and get the baler out here in the field and at least start making some bales. All right, so we got the baler all hooked up here, and so hopefully this is gonna work out without any problems. It's been a little while since I did the baling in this field last time, so just trying to remember all of our keys. And if I just bring up the menu here, I can't remember what key it's going to be to unload a bale here as we get full, so we're gonna have to figure that out right now. It is Y to unload the baler. Good deal. So I'm gonna back up here, drop a bale off. Does it not close on its own? Oh, what kind of nonsense is that? All right, here we go. Now, this is looking like it's going to yield really well. We've already got our first bale in about 10 feet there, so we're going to be dropping a lot of bales in this field. I would run a time lapse of this, but how am I going to see how full the baler is? Unfortunately, the gauge on the baler itself doesn't actually represent reality, so without a HUD, it's going to be kind of tough. So I think we'll just take a few passes here, and then when we get to running the bale pickup, maybe we'll be able to run a bit of a time lapse on that part. But for today, we're just going to be baling. I'm impressed actually already, not just with how much volume we're getting, but by the fact that the worker actually managed to windrow up this second pass and is already coming back down on its third, which means we may actually not run into a ton of trouble here, and this job might actually go somewhat well. I will be curious. We got to pick up this little bit here. Now, you know, obviously we could have captured a lot more of this grass that's out here outside of the technical field definition. I think we did that the first time when we were making silage bales, but let's be honest, I don't need that many bales for how many cows we have, and I don't know where we would store them all, so we're gonna just kind of live with what we've got. I do need to grab this guy though and have him windrow up this little section over here that we missed, so I'm gonna jump in here and do that real quick before he takes off. We have this little spot right here that we're gonna hit. hopefully I can do this in a single pass. It looks like it's wide enough if I can go straight. I'm missing a little tiny bit. Don't miss. Don't miss. All right, so we picked up that little bit. We're just going to run down here and start him right back off as a worker, coming down the long rows. To be honest, this could not have happened in a better time window that our hay got dry and we've got a full day to kind of keep this, or to get this job done before our corn is ready to harvest. Because our corn, if we look at the growth map, is in the final stage of growth here. So it should be dry enough to harvest likely tomorrow from a season's perspective. And so we're going to just jump back into our baler here and go ahead and get going here. I think what I'm going to do is actually jump over and take this smaller row since we're right here and just knock this out real quick. And I'm trying to think if we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we got 5 bales on that first pass, so we can expect roughly 5 bales per pass. That's going to be a lot of bales here, especially with how small these passes are. I mean, if you just look, we've already got, that would be another 15 bales sitting there that we'll put, and we haven't even gotten a quarter of the way through the field. So we're going to have a pretty huge stack of hay bales to deal with here shortly, which is what we wanted. We're definitely going to last through the winter with all of these, I feel confident in saying. And so I'll be kind of curious to see, honestly, just how far this gets us. And I'm also curious to see what this does for the quality of our cows and getting them TMR instead of the hay or silage. I expect is going to help us improve the weight of our cows, which is really what improves their value for beef cattle. And so we're going to see what we can do to get some of these cows sold off at some point here. It looks like our helper got a little bit confused when I restarted him as far as which way we're windrowing this field. So I think what I'm going to do is finish baling what's here, and then I'll start him off again in a second because I think he's going to be able to go faster than us with all the unloading that we need to do. So I'm not too worried about the fact that he's getting behind right now. And then we'll catch up with him. All right, so we have cleaned up all of the areas here down the field, so our worker should no longer get confused. So we're going to jump back over here into the New Holland and get it going again here on the windrowing. At some point, we'll come back and clean up all these headlands after the fact, I think. No sense in really trying to do that now. So if I just get this guy going in a more or less straight line here, we will be able to follow right behind him and keep him going. I think if I jump in here and get rid of this track next to us, that hopefully he won't turn this way. And here we are at the other end of the field, finally. Man, I have to say, baling round bales is a lot of work. I am not a big fan of the constant stopping and starting that we have to do to unload the bale every few feet. But I guess we shouldn't complain too much because we have got a lot of bales out of this field. I have no idea how many bales we've gotten today, but we're going to have to pick these all up and find somewhere to store them through the winter that they're not going to get snowed out on. And so I think what we're going to do first, though, is we really want to get our cows onto TMR as fast as possible. And so we're going to go ahead and run up here, drop this equipment off, and get the TMR mixer hooked up and bring it down to the field and just dump a couple of hay bales straight into it. All right, so we've got our feed mixer here all set up, and I can't actually remember how big it is. I think it's going to hold 3 bales total. And so given we've got so much hay lined up here now, I think what we're going to do is toss 2 hay bales into it, and then we will fill the rest with silage, and that should be a pretty balanced TMR mix for us. If I had straw, I would probably do 1 of each, but we don't have any straw just yet, so I think this is going to be a good mixture. Let's hop in here and take a quick look. Yep, we've got 30% left, so we want to run this back up and grab a silage bale. So what I'm going to do is just put this up by the animals there, because we are going to want to feed them TMR as soon as we get it mixed. And then we're also going to run this tractor up and grab a silage bale. All right, so we're all in place here. We've got our handy silage bale, so let's see if I can get this thing loaded up. And we're dumping it in there. It looks like we're mixing. I think that just changed textures, so it looks like we're TMR finally. We are TMR mixed ratio now. So if I go ahead and just load this into the feed trough, I should be putting in, if we bring up the menu here for the animals, we are going to fill up this whole TMR, so the hay and silage will just kind of be sitting in there as a buffer in case we forget to feed them one day. We are closing in on a year, so I still need to go look at seasons and figure out what our target weights are here, what we're trying to get these cows up to sell them back. But I think we're getting to a point where we're going to be ready to start selling soon. And so that's really exciting, because we'll generate some income from that for sure. And apparently we've got a cow that's walked through the TMR mixer here. So we didn't even fill this all the way up. So we are going to need to get a couple more hay bales and another silage bale in here shortly. And so we'll definitely get that done at some point. Probably save that for next episode to top off the cows. We also need to lease a trailer, a bale stack trailer of some kind, to go and pick all of those bales up. We're probably going to put them in one of our sheds up on the main farm there. We got a couple of those smaller lean-tos. I think it's going to really depend on how many we start bringing in once we get the trailer. Ideally, I would have probably liked to store them maybe in a building like this, but this is inside the cattle enclosure, and if I stored them in there, the cows are going to definitely try to get into them. So we might have to use half of this big barn here and store them in this side along this way, or maybe we'll try to empty this lean-to out down here and fill this up with some bales for the immediate future. Either way, I'm super excited that we now have our cows into total mixed rations, so we should be really upping our productivity there. And we've got really most of our fall work done here already. So the only thing left for us to do is to knock out this cornfield in the back of the farm as soon as it's dry enough to harvest. So next episode, I think we're probably going to be picking up the rest of our bales and knocking out the rest of our harvest for the year. That's all for today. Kederk, out.